Hi, what's up guys, ArakkAttack here, bringing you my overview of the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier and my initial thoughts, taking a holistic approach, looking at everything together. We've got some gameplay and some look at the menus and things like that. The first thing to note is you can do some challenges, kind of like on Call of Duty. You might as well accept these because they're kind of like free XP. A lot of times you have to sort of beat your friends, beat things like that, so they're just a little bit of fun and a quick way to rank up. Now, you've got three classes by default. You've got the Scout, the Engineer, and then the Rifleman, who's just kind of like your standard trooper. The Scout has active camouflage, so when he's standing still he goes invisible, and the Engineer can do things like use UAVs and computers and things like that. Now the great thing about this is there's incredible customization. So if I go into weapon customization, there's all the different weapons which you unlock as you're progressing through the levels. You unlock them as you go. You can use different guns for different things, and look at this, you can disassemble the gun, view it all in high detail, meticulous 3D. It's the ultimate game for people who are, like, they're into their guns, they know a lot about weapons. You can adjust the trigger, and what you do is you have to buy the upgraded parts using credits that you get from locking up. So one attachment credit, you get one every time you level up, and you can look at each individual part in high detail, and you can optimize your gun. So I just optimize it for maneuverability there, or you can do range control or power. And you can do that for every single gun, and then take it out into firing range to try it out, which is a great feature. You can change the parts around on your gun, and then you can take it out and see how it plays. So this is one of the very strong points of the game. You can do the same for your secondary weapon, which can be a pistol or a stun gun or things like that, just a small sidearm. You can change the appearance of your character, so again, huge customization. You unlock things as you level up. And then progression is you go down a path as you level up. Sometimes you have to make choices where you can't go back. Then for the controls, left trigger is aiming, right trigger is fire, RB's marker, and LB is use item, it's throw a grenade, or other items. Left stick's obviously move, the D-pad's attachment, then there's next item and previous item, and call for help is down on the D-pad, which basically just calls for a medic. Then obviously look around is right stick, A is take cover and move, X is interact, Y is switch weapon, B is crouch or prone if you hold it down, and then the back button is your tactical map. Now there are two maps, Mill, which is a more rural area, it's kind of outdoors and quite big, and then Pipeline, which is a more urban, it's industrial, and it's a lot more close quarters combat in that sense. There's Conflict, which is an objective-based game type. There are lots of different variable objectives, they change throughout the game, and Saboteur is a bomb. You've got to either detonate the bomb, or you can win on teamwork points if neither side detonates the bomb. So now we're going to show some gameplay. Basically just showing some of the mechanics of the game. I just threw a flash grenade there, and the close quarters combat can feel a little bit clunky at times. Oh, that's a good thing. You can get knocked over by grenades, but you're not necessarily dead. You can actually stay alive. The first time that happened, I just assumed I was dead, but you can actually, the impact can knock you over, then you can stay alive and live to fight another day. So yeah, the weapons all feel really good. They feel nice and powerful. They've got a real kick to them. And here's a casualty assessment, which is obviously the version of the kill cam from Call of Duty. Now, as you can see, it's third person, so it's kind of like a cross between Gears and Battlefield, I suppose. You saw that guy doing some little rolls there. You've got quite a wide range of movement. And what I just did there was I held down the right bumper, and then I've linked with my teammate here, so it draws a little blue line on the HUD, the interactive HUD, so that it links to him. And you can squad up with people in that way, so I can, stay with him, he knows that I'm doing this, and you can always see where your teammate is. So basically, you can work together as a little squad and progress through the map, having each other's backs, which is a really good idea. And you can see that I can see teammates through walls. The teammates appear as green, and if their enemies are detected, so if a teammate has a UAV or a sensor or something, I can also see the enemies through the wall. So it's kind of like TACCOM in Gears. Which is really useful. Now here what we're doing in this game type is Conflict, and we're on the map Pipeline here. So my teammate is securing the objective right now, and I'm trying to defend him. And the more teammates that you have around you, the faster he will capture that objective, because he gets what's called confidence. So again, it's really team orientated, and in this clip again, my teammate's capturing the objective, and here I'm standing near him because the little bar fills up much quicker if there are other people around. To defend him, and additionally, if an enemy does come, I can kill the enemy before it stops him from capturing the point. So there you can see there's an enemy detected up there, so I can see him through the wall. And when it says detected on your screen, you know that you're visible to enemies, you're appearing for them, and you have to be very careful when you're detected, because you're practically dead if you're not careful. An enemy there is laying down suppressive fire, so my active camo can't become active, so I can't go invisible. So that's what's happening there. That's why my screen's shaking like this. So I'm just waiting for that to finish. And the good thing about the spawn system is, you just saw there, my teammate spawned on top of me, and he just got taken down, but he spawned on top of me. Now what I can do is heal him, revive him, depending on how he was killed. So I've revived him there, we killed the enemy, and we're still alive running around the map, so again, teamwork's really important. And now I'm going to use the interactive HUD to set a little waypoint to the next objective, because obviously we don't all know the maps at first. So yeah, it's not too hard to get to grips with. The movement system's a little bit clunky at times, but in general it's quite smooth. So what you can see here is, because I'm a scout, I'm actually invisible until I shoot or move because of my active camouflage, so this is really useful. And due to the third person perspective, you can look over walls without revealing yourself, so you can pick your moment, and then you can... I've got a long range weapon, so what I do is you can just use the little reticule to line up your shot, then pop over and get quite a good few kills like this. So of course you've got to be aware that enemies can be doing this as well. So when you're moving around, you've got to presume that there are enemies everywhere, and that's why it's incredibly important to communicate with your teammates to know where they are. And here we just got EMP'd, so all my HUD's gone, my little red dot sight's gone, and I can't even tell who's the enemy or who's not, because I'm not quite sure what they look like yet, and I think I'm shooting my own teammates here, so yeah, it's quite disorientating when you get EMP'd, so it just shows how valuable the HUD is in this game, actually. And then that was some kind of grenade launcher, so I didn't have that unlocked, and I only really played as a scout class, so there's a lot of potential in this game that I didn't actually unlock, and yeah, you just saw me doing a little roll there. Now this is a problem with the game. You're going to get a lot of this if you've got the beta, but hopefully they get all the servers sorted out by the time the full game is released, because the servers are down a lot of the time, and there's a lot of host migration, and it's a bit annoying. Now this is me shooting down a UAV. You want to do this every time you can, because basically the UAVs are really useful. It means that you're detected all the time, that means you know exactly where you are, and you're an easy kill. UAVs are sent out by engineers, and actually it's quite interesting. You can easily be the MVP on your team. You can have the most points, and you see people who don't have a single kill, because this game really rewards teamwork in terms of points and XP. And if you spot a lot of people using UAVs, then yeah, you really do get a lot of points. And I think that's a good thing about the game, though. It's not all focused on kills. It's not all centered around that. So a lot of team-orientated things will also get you to the top of the leaderboard. Now, during this next clip, this next part of the clip, the objective isn't actually a little point that you have to capture or anything. Like I said, in Conflict, there are variable objectives, and in this case, it's a high-value target, which basically means it's an escort mission. You have to keep someone on your team alive. The enemy team have to try and kill him, and you get points if you succeed in whichever one you're trying to do. So right now, the guy on the left there is the high-value target, and now the rest of the team are communicating. We're trying to get to him, and we're trying to protect him. So it's interesting. It's a very dynamic game type. There's not one set objective, although sometimes it's a little bit unfair. Sometimes, for some reason, the objectives spawn right next to where one team already is, and sometimes, you know, it just really favours one team. It's a little bit random, and I think there might be some balance issues there that they could look at, but in general, it does keep it really fresh. The game type's kind of like a mix of lots of game types from lots of different games, and it works quite well. So here I just killed that guy, and then here's an example of something that can make you be detected and make you show up on an enemy map. I couldn't figure out what it was at first, but then I noticed there's a little sensor down there, so you can shoot that equipment out and destroy that. So you want to do things like that every time you can. Now this is some of the saboteur game type, where you have to escort a bomb to a place and detonate it. The enemies have to do the same. And this is on the map Mill, so this is the much more open map. You can see it's all green, and it's much wider. Here's me shooting down a UAV again. Sometimes it's really hard to shoot those down. While I was shooting this down, I got killed, and then using the dynamic spawn system, I kept spawning on my teammate, but I'm just going to show you that this does have some problems sometimes. You see, I spawned on him, and I instantly just get killed. And it's not meant to let you spawn on someone when they're in combat, but clearly this doesn't quite work, because he's obviously in combat, but it lets me spawn on him here, and then again I just tried it again just to see whether it worked, and yeah, I died before I even spawned. So the spawn system does have some problems. But at least the dynamic spawn system can prevent spawn trapping quite a lot, because if you've got a teammate out there, then you can spawn on top of him, provided he's not in combat. So this is some gameplay from the mill. It plays out quite a lot differently, a little bit slower, I'd say. So I'm trying to pick people off who are inside that house, trying to provide some suppressive fire, and then I think a teammate ends up throwing in a grenade, and I get an assist for that kill, which actually gives you quite a few points. So again, you know, you don't have to be a main slayer to get a lot of points in this game, which is really good. And yeah, it's definitely not a game where you can just run and gun. You can't run in. You really can't just go Rambo. You'll just get gunned down straight away. Yeah, it's much slower pace, much more tactical. And some people might find that a little bit boring. I mean, it depends on what type of game you like. Personally, it's not my type of game, because the engagements are always over in a couple of seconds, like 1 or 2 shots and the person's dead. Whereas in a game like Gears of War, you know, you can have wall bouncing battles that last for quite a long time. But you know, it does cater to the hardcore crowd. And if you get a team together who've got great communication, then you're going to be able to do really well in these games. And I showed that clip because that's someone hacking an enemy there, even though I got killed. And now that he's been hacked, I can see all the enemies on the map. I can see all the red arrows of the enemies, and for a short period of time, I can see every single enemy. And there again, in the TACCOM, I can see an enemy hacking, or being hacked rather, and that means that for the next few seconds, all the enemies are detected, and I can see them all on the map, or I can see their red silhouettes, which gives you a huge advantage. So yeah, it's important to you know, if you're an engineer, to hack people as much as you can. So overall, yeah, I like this game. The cover system's pretty good. The movement's not too bad. The waypoint and the interactive HUD's really good. Team-oriented gameplay is good, and the weapon customization's the really big thing. It's incredible. It's really good. But you know, there are some potential balance problems, but they have been releasing patches even to the beta, so they're definitely going to be active in balancing the game. Other problems: the spawn system sometimes is a bit dodgy. The movement system sometimes clunky. And you know, sometimes when you're in melee combat, it's a bit awkward. 2 people end up sort of like stabbing each other, and you can't really aim properly. And the huge thing is the server problems, with the server always being down. But I'm sure that will be sorted out by retail. But yeah, overall, this is a fun game to play, and the gameplay is highly addictive, especially when you work in a team. Thanks for watching, guys.